thank you all for joining me today. I would like to give a special thanks to NewGen Business Solutions for allowing us to partner with them on this webinar today. They've been a long-time partner. We have a long history of working really well together, and so I'm super excited about 2019. Today's presentation is Get More from Sage, More Time, More Money, More Life. My name is Eric Osborne. I'm the channel manager with eRequester, also a software sales consultant. My email is right there on the screen, but if you want to find out more about eRequester, basically feel free to reach out to your NewGen rep, and they'll be able to get you in contact with us. We speak to a lot of customers each week, each day, and each customer are always looking for more ways to save time, to get more time back out of their purchasing process, as well as save money. I don't care what company you're in, what role you're in, if you can save your company money, then you're doing a great job, and your company will be pretty much excited about you. And then lastly, also too, with in today's world of cloud computing and things like that, one of the things we're going to talk about today as well is kind of how you can extend the life on your ERP system, Sage. eRequester is a spend management solution designed to give organizations control and insight on their internal purchases. We've been around since 1999. We started out as a reseller. Our customers came to us for us to develop a way for them to create requisitions and route them for approval. They wanted to be able to account for those things before they're actually bought. And so we took that project in-house, and in 1999, eRequester was born. eRequester is a cross-industry solution that allows organizations to save money on purchasing while managing compliance and accelerating their accounting. We've been a Sage development partner for close to 20 years now. So I say that only because we have a deep history of working with Sage. So our solution is definitely one that is a Sage tested over the years. eRequester is utilized by 850 companies and growing, with more than 100,000 users worldwide. And as I mentioned before, it is a cross-industry solution. We work with construction companies, property management companies, nonprofits, NGOs, breweries, pretty much any company that has goals around cost containment and controlling spending is a great partner or company for us to work with. So our agenda for today is pretty simple. I'm going to take about 20 minutes to do my overall presentation, which is more about Get More from Sage. We'll talk a little bit about indirect spend, and I'll also discuss two benefits of implementing a spend management solution that you're going to get right away. And then lastly, we're going to tie it all together into Sage and let you know what you can expect to get more life out of your Sage ERP system by implementing some kind of spend management solution. After that, we'll have a 15-minute question and answer session that is directed for myself as well as NewGen to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. As a kind of housekeeping rule right now, I've muted everyone, and so all I ask is that if you have any questions, write them down. That will be the first thing. Write them down, or feel free to put it in the chat, and Rob will grab those questions from you. Rob is our marketing guy. He'll grab those questions, and then we'll be able to address them at the end. Let's dive in. How to get more from Sage. The concept behind spend management is pretty simple. It's designed to give organizations visibility and control over their indirect spend. Indirect spend refers to purchases of goods and services that are not directly incorporated in the product being manufactured. So it's not the product that you're selling or the services that you're selling. It is all those things that are helping you be able to sell that product. For example, That includes like your laptop and computer, office desktop computers, office supplies, janitorial services, furniture, IT support. These are all things that are necessary for internal use. They can be expensive, such as office furniture, so they may have some kind of approval process or something like that, but a lot of these things kind of fall into that tailspin category, which is typically the small ticket items that are like low dollar and high volume. You could think of like your pens and your basic office paper, just the things that set up kind of the office, the Kleenexes and sanitizer, all those little things that people just kind of buy that kind of fall on the radar. Studies have shown that your indirect spend can account for 13 to 22% of your revenue each year. So on a basic level, managing and reducing indirect spend costs helps you easily recoup time and money while having a positive impact on your bottom line. So let's look at an example. A company that is making $50 million in revenue last year. If we look at that as a whole and we take out 22% of that, $11 million of that money is their indirect spend. If we dive in a little bit further and dive into the direct spend, we'll realize that 2% of all your indirect spend are usually unauthorized purchases, right? So just getting an idea of who's buying things in your company and having those through some kind of approval routing potentially can save you $220,000 in just that unauthorized purchases. But also thinking about the larger picture would be your indirect spend, that the fact that a lot of companies are not watching these things kind of fall through the radar. So because it makes up 22% of your whole revenue, it is a big chunk of money. Getting an idea of what's going on in your purchasing process, this basically gives you 220 reasons why you want better visibility into your current spend. Now, one of the key takeaways we have is that 90% of companies are not actually proactively managing their tail spend, right? So out of that 22% of indirect spend, you have that smaller kind of tail spend aspect that companies aren't managing. These are smaller purchases that tend to slip under the radar. Accountants usually don't think about them until they get a bill, or it's something that comes in and then they have to chase down who actually did it to find out more information, things like that. These things are kind of bogged down this whole process. But pairing a best-in-class spend management software with best practices delivers immediate and measurable benefits that boost your bottom line. So getting an idea of who's spending in there, whether it be a piece of paper that they're buying to a large ticket item, gives you 100% visibility into your current spend. As I mentioned earlier, tail spend accounts for kind of those low dollar items and high volume, but they also tend to slip under the radar, so they can really bog down your purchasing process. Looking at this graph, you can see that tail spend accounts for 20% of your spend, but it also spread out over 80% of your suppliers. Giving a handle on this will be key to help you save time and money ultimately with your suppliers, giving you a lot more strategic opportunity for strategic decision making. So far we've discussed a little bit about indirect spend, so you know exactly what your spend management solution can do for you and what the areas where it's really covering. But what are some of the benefits that you can do? What are some of the benefits that you can get by implementing a spend management solution that kind of integrates with your ERP system? One of the main reasons why people come to us for implementing this type of software is that they want to get more time. Typically, I speak to accountants, IT managers, purchasing managers, just getting the process started, and one of the main things that they're always saying to me is that I don't know exactly what I need, but I do know that there's a better way to do things. I know that there is a better way that I could save some time throughout this process. I'm really tired of all of the manual data entry, all of the time I have to use babysitting the overall purchasing process. So here's 3 ways to help you get more time while containing your costs. First thing that you're going to save time with is streamlining your processes. We speak to so many finance professionals, like I said, that are babysitting this purchasing process. They're not sure. They have to make sure that there aren't any human errors, any kind of missing data on the request. They have to physically and kind of walk the piece of paper or Excel spreadsheet around to different people. They have to like stalk people to get them to sign it and all those different things. A manual-based requisition process creates and requires an enormous amount of overhead. By moving to a more electronic, automated solution, you can eliminate manual tasks, workflows involved, and automate that process, saving you a ton of time. Also, with a spend management solution that's integrated, like eRequester is integrated with Sage, the 2 systems talk back and forth, giving you access to real-time data. This allows you to, if you were to make changes in your ERP system, it'll automatically update your eRequester or your spend management solution. If you update the spend management solution, it should automatically update your ERP system. This allows you to save on double entry. I talk to so many people who spend so much time just entering things into ERP systems. So what we like to say is that you work with your stakeholders, you remove unnecessary and manual redundant steps from your purchase cycle. Secondly, you get to automate your approval routing. A very important quality of PO software is to bring your processes is approval routing. Getting approvals for anything in the company can be frustrating, as I mentioned before. You have to chase people. Sometimes manager, you literally have to stalk them. If they go out of town or they go out of office, who do you give who do you get to approve it then? So it becomes a very annoying, cumbersome process that really drives a lot of frustration. With a spend management solution, approvals are quick, and all the information is needed to approve a PO, and it's right there in one convenient place, right there electronically available for them at any time. All the purchases are run through that approval process, and it's done before. It's all predetermined, so no one has to think about it. It just does what it does, giving managers who make the decisions the opportunity to approve all the purchases they need to, with just a click of a button. It's really easy for them. Also, because it's mobile, they don't have to sit at their desk. They don't have to babysit and walk through this process. It'll notify them, and they can actually respond to those things from their laptop, from their tablet, or their phone, and keep that process kind of going, keep it moving. Also, the rules can be set up depending on the budgets, on your projects, per user, all these different rules that you could set up so that no one has to actually manage that process. Instead, the software will manage the process for you, saving you a ton of time. And then lastly, it improves visibility. Having visibility into cash flow is critical for businesses of all sizes. CFOs are not only challenged with growing the business, but also running the operations effectively. An automated purchasing system that is integrated with Sage can provide a detailed view of your cash flow at all times. You can get proper accruals on open purchase orders, purchases which are received but not invoiced, standard invoicing, aging reports, predictive analytics on cash flow requirements based on your purchase history and trends. Automating the purchasing system leads to better visibility and provide information at the decision maker's fingertips. Key takeaways: centralized purchasing gives your users, accountants, and C-suite critical visibility and spend. You get real-time reporting for instant access to status, amount, vendor, and granular details on every purchase in your system. So, congratulations, you've just reduced your purchasing cycle by 30%. You reclaim wasted time. This means that less work for you, less late nights, less overtime for the company, more time with your family, or in a lot of cases when I talk to people, one of the main things that they want is more time so they can do more strategic sourcing or more strategic things for the company. Now that you've gotten this 30%, in time back, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to spend some more time with your family, or are you going to make the company better and make your processes better? Seems pretty simple. The key to making this all work is to identify and remove blockers, such as a manual purchasing process, and build streamlined processes that is made easy by automation. You rely on your software, to route for approvals, handle notifications, and give you clear visibility into your indirect spend. So you can use the data further to kind of refine your process. One of the great things about these is that as you continue to use the system, you can refine your process and just get better. You can cut more time out of your process so that ultimately you can save a ton of time, even more time. So I spent a little time, we talked about how you can save some time, 3 ways you can save some time. Next thing is we're going to show you how you can get some more money. Now, this is key for anybody. As I mentioned before, every company I know is always looking at ways to maximize revenue. How can you get more for less, all those different things. So, as I mentioned earlier, a manual-based requisition process can be pretty labor-intensive. Statistics show by automating your purchasing process right away, you cut about 49% of that manual aspect out of it. Surprise! Now, cutting your costs by reducing the time it takes to actually create a PO, you cut your average cost of the PO by 49% as well. So we've done some statistics, or we have some statistics around it, and typically it takes about, with labor and time and all the things that goes into creating a PO, it's on average about $125 per PO in a manual process. And so if you could just add a spend management solution, immediately you cut that cost down by like close to 50%, reducing it to about $63.75 per PO. That's literally money right in your pocket right away. Brad P., manager of master data, a longtime client of ours, we were able to start with this system, eRequester, with only 10 users and has easily scaled to almost 400. It allows us to save at least 4 to 5 jobs in purchasing. So saving time at every step of the process adds up fast. If you're able to automate your process, which takes a lot of the kind of hand-holding out of the process, the one person can start doing the work of about 3 or 4 people, 4 to 5 people, ultimately saving you money and extra help if needed. A good spend management solution should handle all the routing, take a lot of the manual data entry out of the process, notify people when it's something to approve, keep track of everything for auditing, interact with your vendors, match invoice and receipts, post AP vouchers in the Sage module for payment, and notify the right person that it's time to pay the bill. It acts as a teammate, basically, working with your procurement or purchasing team. It helps you kind of get things done a lot faster, ultimately saving you some money. So let's look at that. If you were able to save some money by implementing a spend management solution. Now, I'm in Seattle, and so for different areas, these salaries could be different. But what if you were able to save 5 employee salaries by adding a solution, by helping your employees that you have do their job a lot better? a lot more efficiently. Average salary right now, and this is national data, is around $71,300 for the averaging purchasing department salary. If you times that by 5, that's potentially $356,500 a year in just extra overhead and things that you could potentially save. Can you imagine effective of funneling that amount back into your critical areas of your company? I mean, imagine if you had $356,000 this year extra that you could do a lot with. So let's review. In 3 steps, I was able to get you to reduce your purchasing cycle by 30%. That's going to save you guys a ton of time. Reduce your cost per PO by 49%, save you a ton of money. You save some labor, you've improved your productivity. Now what we're going to do is look at some of the real-time benefits you get for working with a spend management solution paired with Sage. So how do you take a spend management solution like an eRequester and use it to get more from Sage? We've gone over the concept of automating your purchasing process with spend management, how it's used to save money, how it saves time when it's integrated Sage. But what does it actually help you do, right? First, let's break down kind of automating the spend management solution, what it does. It gives you the ability to create requisitions, get those requisitions approved through some kind of predetermined approval process. You get to process your POs. You get to interact with your suppliers and get supplier acknowledgement throughout the system. You get to make changes throughout those orders and throughout those processes throughout that. You get to buy goods throughout the system. You get to receive them. You get to do your matching with your receipts and the PO as well as your invoice. And then you get to post the AP voucher in Sage for any kind of payments that you need. This should be integrated so that each of the software are talking to each other so that if you make changes in one, it makes the changes in the other. Now, having all that functionality, what can you expect? Proactivity. When dealing with your Sage ERP, you have the ability to account for all your purchases that you've bought. It gives you all the access to all that data for everything you bought. You can look at your spend in different categories and things like that for everything you've already bought. But by pairing your ERP solution, Sage solution, with a spend management solution, you get to empower your team with opportunities to make decisions before their purchases, before they are already purchases. This gives them the opportunity to be very proactive and gives either your users and your managers the ability to make critical decisions before something is actually bought. They can make decisions and justify exactly why they need to buy this now and why it's critical to your business right now, or they can actually look at it and see that it's going to go over budget, and they can wait for a more optimum time to actually buy that if it's not so critical. But having that process electronic, automated, in a system that tracks everything gives you that ability to be proactive when making decisions. With all the change in landscape around ERP systems, the one thing that we know is that Sage is a very dependable, reliable software. You've grown with it, you trust it, and it works. Most of the time, by adding functionality with an integrated procurement solution, you extend the life product by allowing it to roll out against to all of your employees. Pairing Sage with a software like a e-procurement solution, spend management solution, makes it become sticky. It's very difficult, just like your Sage ERP, to rip that system out or upgrade or any of those type of things. It works, it's tried and true, you depend on it, and it gives you everything that you need. it does have some lack of functionality, so pairing that with our solution extends the life of your Sage ERP and gives you a more dependable, stable, a more dependable base. Stability. As I mentioned before, the Sage ERP product is solid. We all like it. We use it. It's going to be around for a while. We do know that there are areas where it's weak at, such as requisitioning or approval routing. So by pairing your Sage with a e-procurement solution or a spend management solution, you have a solid, stable platform to build your financials on top of. We've been developing on Sage, or eRequester has been developing for Sage for over 20 years. It's a solid, stable platform that could piggyback off of Sage, giving you a true, stable foundation for all your financials to build off of. If you have a manual or Excel-based purchasing process, chances are you have limited visibility into your company spend at any given time. You have access to reports like before, your spend with your supplier or spend with your GL account, but that's after the money is spent. These reports are great, but it's not the best time to be looking at the budget, wanting to make decisions. When you automate your PO process and integrate with Sage, you get real-time access to your budgets, real-time reporting for every transaction with a click of the button. This gives you true visibility. You have all the data that allows you to plan, to be more proactive and strategic on how you approach your indirect spend. A best-in-class spend management delivers real-time tracking and reporting for every user and every request. Streamlined approval workflows make sure that the monitoring spend happens before a single dollar is spent. You have 100% true visibility into your current spend. And then lastly, finally, you get accountability. When you add an automated electronic system that everyone uses in your company, you always answer the question of who is buying, what is being bought, from whom, when they bought it, and when it's supposed to get here, at what price you bought it at, and where did you buy it from. All the information you need when you need it at your fingertips anytime. It gives you full accountability through the whole purchasing processes, which empowers you to spend wisely. Empowers you and your team to spend wisely. The new way of thinking about spend fosters accountability to every level of your organization. Neil McInnes, Director of Finance for Lil Watt, a great customer of ours, we were committed to finding ways to streamline our processes, enforce existing policies, and create a culture of financial accountability. eRequester has done everything we expected to do and more. It has become embedded in our day-to-day operations. Thank you, Neil. I appreciate that.